Hey folks, Levi here once again. Welcome back to another review. I hope you enjoyed my review of Deadpool 2 that is on my channel right now. Remember guys, it's the mass profile picture. Levi McNally 983. Yeah, this is my new channel, so please make sure you subscribe to this. Thank you guys we're almost to 240. We're getting there to 300. We're getting there slowly, but we're getting there. I plan to keep on doing videos guys, so I hope you plan on sticking around and share my channel, share my videos. Share my channel with people, share my videos on your Facebook page. I would appreciate the support and let people know about me. I'd appreciate it. It's always nice to share. Yeah. I would do the same thing for anybody, another YouTuber as well. Yeah, just to recommend them to help support, just to be nice and help support people. You know, that's what it's all being about too. But anyway, guys, like I said, I hope you enjoyed my review of Deadpool 2. And if you want to wear this Pixar shirt, well, I did review The Incredibles from 2004, which turned 20 last year, by the way. So happy 20th anniversary to that movie. And I did the original review in my other channel. I did review the first movie too. On my other channel with the Batman Mask of the Phantasm profile picture. And I did review the Incredibles, the first one. And now I'm reviewing the 2018 sequel that is once again directed by Brad Bird. Some different voice cast members, but you do have three members that there's Greg T. Nelson, Holly Hunter, and Samuel Jackson, who responded their roles from the first movie, and that is Incredibles 2. I loved the sequel. I don't think it was as good as the first, but this is a solid sequel. This is an enjoyable sequel. It's different. It does have a different story. So, that's what you gotta expect with a sequel. It took them about, I think, 15 years to make a sequel, so it felt like it took decades, though, to have Incredibles 2 out. But they finally did it, and I think the effort paid off. I think the film, I think, did make $1 billion at the box office. Yeah, it deserved it because it was really good, and it was worth, yeah, I agree with U.S. Weekly. It was worth the wait. Is it a perfect sequel? No. But it is really good. It's a really good, awesome sequel. It was definitely worth the wait. And now you're probably saying, I was planning, now if you would watch my other channel, I do like Disney Pixar special animated reviews. These are movies like this, this is Pixar, and also by Disney too, but anyway, same thing, whatever. Um, but I counted The Incredibles in the first movie and the second one because, again, The Incredibles, they're superheroes, so it counts for, and it's technically, yeah, this is a superhero film, so it's the first movie, so it counts for this marathon, for the superhero marathon. It counts. And like I said, I've been doing a superhero marathon, guys. The superhero movies that came out in 2010s era superhero reviews. That's what I call it. 2010 to 2019. And again, this film came out in June of 2018. So, and it does count for this marathon. I have the film on Blu-ray and DVD. Uh, this is the future, like special features. This right here is the DVD, and under it, yeah. And this is the movie on Blu-ray, I believe. Yep. The Blu-ray disc of the film. You can watch it on either DVD or Blu-ray. Right here, it gives you that option. Like I said, the third disc is bonus, so you probably get if you want to watch I guess that they have behind the scenes. They should. They do have a bit of making of behind the first movie too. But I'll keep that slip cover off. But I loved The Incredibles too, so let's get into it, shall we? Yeah. I don't know how people feel about it. I don't hear people talking about much about this movie nowadays. Some may not like it, which is fine. You know. Sorry. But publicizing The Incredibles, Brad Bird had already capitalized the eventual approach of a sequel, where Bob and Helen Barb would switch roles and Jack would develop his powers and multiple powers unknown to the family. Following The Incredibles, Bird directed Ratatouille. His next film for Pixar. News premiered in June 2007. Bird said he was open to the idea for a sequel to The Incredibles, but only if it could be better than the original. He stated, I have pieces that I think are good, but I don't have them all. Together in May 2013 interview, Bird reiterated his interest in a sequel. I have been thinking about it. People think I have not been, but I have, because I love those characters and I love that world. I have many elements I think would really work in another Incredibles film, and if I can get them to click it all together, I probably want to do that. At the Disney shareholder meeting in March 2014, Disney CEO Chairman Bob Iger confirmed that Pixar was working on an incredible sequel. That Bird will return as both director and screenwriter. Bird said the script and said the Incredible sequel will be his next film after Tomorrowland. One challenge is writing Incredibles 2, how to deal with a large number of superhero films and series that's released since the first one, such as the MCU films. Try to differentiate the sequel. Bird wanted to avoid tropes related to the superhero genre. I don't think the idea of always having interesting very long for me. The interesting thing was that the superhero part of it was more the family dynamic, and how do super things play into that. He said he wanted to include some unusual ideas from the first film. The new story would focus on Helen Poor, Elastigirl. The sequel was released 14 years after the first. Okay, sorry, got 1 year wrong, but 14. Bird did not want to use a narrative element like Eclipse or come to up with the new characters, and instead continued from the new film, first film left off. This allowed him to keep the characters within the same superpowers, not have to develop new ones, nor did he need to figure out how to deal with Violet and Dash being adults. This allowed him to keep Jack as an infant with powers, which Bird likened. In which I understand numerous languages. While the plot of 2005 follow video game Rise of the Underminer begins at that same point, the film disregards the game continuity. It's produced with a production budget of $200 million. Pixar announced that Holly Hunter and Samuel Jackson came back to respond to the roles, and so did Greg T. from Sarah Bell will respond to the roles as well. And Spencer Fox, the original voice of Dash, will be replaced by younger newcomer Huckleberry Myler. I guess since Spencer maybe at the time got older, and Dash is a young kid, like what 10 years old, I believe. So you can't have. Yeah, he was probably what in his 20s when this movie came out. Let's see. Yeah, well, somewhat maybe in his 20s. Wait a minute. Oh, he's 31 now. He's about my age. Wow. So when the sequel came out, he was probably 25, probably. I think 20. I might lose it, but I know I was around in my 20s, mid 20s. So he's probably in his mid 20s too. Yeah, and you can't have an adult voice because when you get that older, your voice changes. So the original, later that month, Bird and Johnson Ratzenberger, they're confirmed as part of the roles from the characters from the first film. Pixar announced that Bob Odenkirk and Kathleen Keener had joined the cast. Animation. Pixar Incredibles 2, Vimont Technology, the company has seen since the original film. A team of much more experienced animators, John Walker said, I think that one thing they said about Brad and Ralph, the production designer, was that the technology exists now to finally realize the designs in the way they had hoped in the 2004. There were no notions of, well, we don't know how to do long hair. We don't know how to do humans. We don't know how to do muscles, but everybody knows how to do it. Because Pixar no longer used the same systems. All the characters had to be created from scratch in the computer again. The studio also gained visually based human eye models of the characters for the first time. Michael Jingo came back to return to compose the score, and you know that score, the score, dun, 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 you know, dun, 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 that theme kind of for The Incredibles, of course. It includes vocal theme songs for Mr. Incredible, Mr. Incredible. I like the last one though. The last one, no one, escapes. It's beyond her reach. Throws on. Yeah, that was part of the marketing for the movie too. But anyway, but for the marketing of the film, uh, of course, I do remember the teaser trailer with Baby Jack using his laser eyes to shoot at the screen, and then it says Incredibles 2 coming soon. And with Bob picking up the baby, like, you have powers. This is inside. Then he burns half, with his laser, burns his hair, and Mr. Incredible's like, and then Jack, laughing about it. So I remember that marketing for the movie. McDonald's had toys out for the movie. Oh my god. Yeah, yeah. They had toys out for the film. Yeah, McDonald's did. Some of the characters they were on juicy juice drinks. There you have Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, Violet and Dash, and Jack. And superheroes need protection. Just something about protecting your homes, and they would put the Incredibles in the commercial as well. So they heavily, I feel like they did do a job marketing the film. Sports promotional advertisements for the movie, you know. And basically, what teaser and trailers are, and all this stuff is marketing. It's marketing tools for the movie to get people to want to go see it. And the film does have a really good poster as well. You know, yeah. And it did have a Lego Incredibles 2018 Venture game that came out. I guess based on the movie. It's very similar to the previous Lego installments. Puzzles designed for younger players. The game allows the player to control versus superheroes and villains. Yeah, you know, like for example, Mr. Incredible has super strength and agility. Elastigirl can shape her body in many ways. She can stretch her body like Mr. Fantastic from Marvel. Violet can turn invisible, create force fields like Invisible Woman from Fantastic Four. Dash can run at incredible speeds like the Flash. Jack has large radio powers, just like the film, such as turning into a human torch, telekinesis, teleportation, and he can turn himself like into a devil monster, like a little devil monster, and teleport. You know, the game story follows the plot of both Incredibles 1 and 2. Yeah. But for the plot synopsis of the film, oh, wait a minute. I'm going too fast. For the voice casting of Greg T. Nelson coming back as the voice of Bob Parr, Mr. Incredible. He's the father of the family who has super strength, endurance, and versatility. I can't say the name. Greg T. Nelson. Sure, he's been a lot. I think he was in the movie Poltergeist. You know, Flash Gordon. Or did a voice for that? Must have been no Flash Gordon. Sorry. Yeah, Poltergeist. Like I said, directed by Steven Spielberg. And Poltergeist 2. Turner and Hooch. Oh yeah, he was the chief in that. True Beverly Hills Goes to Mississippi. I think he's known for one TV show, but not Charlie's Angels, not Wonder Woman. He was in those, but it was like Coach. Okay, yeah, TV show he did call Coach. Yeah, but of course he's responding his role because he was Mr. Incredible in the first movie. And Holly Hunter is Helen Parr, Elastigirl, the mother of the family, who has the ability to stretch her body into many shapes and forms. Holly Hunter, of course, was the character in the first movie. She was in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. The farmer Tom Cruise, always with John Goodman and Richard Dreyfuss, and I think Arizona with Nicolas Cage, and her brother Where Thou with George Clooney and Timberlake Nelson and John Turturro. Copycat, Crash, Home for the Holidays. Yeah, yeah. Well, she hasn't done any movies after that. And then Sarah Bow as Violet Barr, the family's first child who can become invisible and project force shields. Let's see. Well, End of the Line, playing a Diana Idris, gigantic, playing herself. And of course, she with Violet from the first movie, so she does require her role here. Huckleberry Myler is, yeah, as Dash, the family's second child, who has superhuman speed. He replaces Professor Fox from the first movie, and he's alright as the voice, but I could tell why they had to replace Professor Fox because he's about my age, so at the time he's probably like 25, and, or, yeah, he was 25, okay, yeah, he was, I was just counting my fingers back with the 2018, and now I'm, yeah, but Dash is the one that has superhuman speed like the Flash, like I said. And Ella Foss as Jack Jack Part, the infant son of Bob, who develops enormous of powers. Nick Berg provides a vocal voice for Jack Jack's Monsters Born. Samuel Jackson as Lucius Best, Frozone. Uh, you've probably seen Samuel Jackson in many movies like Die Hard with a Vengeance, Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Coming to America, he has a small part in that. Do the Right Thing, working with Spike Lee, Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2, and Hateful Eight. And of course, Pulp Fiction and Marvel movies. We're playing, of course, Nick Fury, Snakes on a Plane. Yeah, Sam's been in a lot of movies, and he's a great actor. Yeah, Kong Skull Island, The Negotiator. I've been wanting to see that movie. Sam's always been a great actor. Yeah, and XX, the first one. I think he was also in State of the Union. Yeah, And I believe he was in the Marvels that came out in 2023. Maybe that was his last time as Nick Fury. I don't know. Or he comes back for the Avengers movie. I don't know. Anyway, for the voice cast, I made sure I'm reading right, right off the movie. Bob Orton as Winston, a superhero fan who leads a giant communications company called Habitat with his sister Evelyn and wants to bring back superheroes by revamping the Republic Imagine. Yeah. Good voice actor. He was in Wayne's World 2, Clean Slate, The Cable Guy, Dr. Dolittle 2, um, voicing some animals, a forest animal and a dog in that movie. Sarah Silverman, Jesus is Magic, Let's Go to Prison, movie 43, which I heard sucked. I guess he knew Chris Farley, because he was in the documentary I Am Chris Farley. Alright. I noticed Kathleen Keener as Ellen Diver, aka Screenslaver. Winston's sister. There will be spoilers in this review, by the way. A technical genius who has never encountered a problem she could never solve. She later rebuilt. Oh, okay. Spoilers coming ahead a little later. The Kathleen Screener. I remember her, and she was in the 40-year-old version. Get Out. You know, Joker Vlog stuff. Oh yeah. She was. Okay, yeah. She was in that movie, which is well, not a superhero movie, but it's Joker that's based on a comic book. I think she was in Death of Smoochie with late Robin Williams and Edward Norton. Yeah. Polar Bear, Incredibles 2, Get Out. Yeah, I remember her in Get Out. And Bill Wees voices Eleven while wearing the screensaver mask. Brad Bird is Edna, a fashion designer, and Brad Bird does inspire the role. And he also, like I said, directs the movie, and he also writes the script for this movie. I think his first big movie that he directed was The Iron Giant. I love The Iron Giant. I'm thinking for my next set of reviews, if I do another set of Disney Plus reviews, well, it ain't coming anytime soon, but I definitely got to read The Iron Giant. And he also directed Ratatouille, Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, which I'm not too big on. But and he's possibly going to make Incredibles 3, which I do look forward to. Yeah. I'm sure they are going to make because this film made billions of dollars at the box office. This was definitely better than Toy Story 4, in my opinion, which I think came out 2019. Yeah. Jonathan Banks is Rick Decker, a government agent responsible for helping the Paris stay undercover and unremarkable. Banks replaced Bob Lucky from the first film, who died in 2018. Jonathan Banks, Under Siege 2, The Dark Territory with Steven Seagal. Batman Arkham Knight, he voiced Jim Gordon. Foolish Identity Theft, he's doing quite a bit of movies. Michael Bird as Tony Roger, vice love interest and later boyfriend. Sophia Bush as Karen, what inspiring superhero with the power to create portals. Oh, she's cute. John Tucker Must Die. The Hitcher. I guess the remake version. And of course, as you know, this film does have, being a sequel, does have two new characters and some new superheroes too, as you can see. Of course, with a sequel, you gotta have new characters sometimes. Or technically, Phil LaMarr is Crusher. Phil LaMarr, he voiced Green Lantern, I think, in Justice League animated series. Yeah. But he's done a lot of voice work for movies and stuff, for cartoons. Well, maybe I was wrong. He didn't voice films. I don't know. Sorry. But yeah, all I know, he's done a lot of voice work. He's done some live action work, but mainly for DC, he's done a lot of voice work for them over the years. In the Super Mario Bros. Movie from 2023, Watchmen Chapter 1, Watchmen Chapter 2, which is also DC. Oh yeah, okay. John Stewart Green Lantern. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Hey Arnold, King of the Hill did some voices for that. He's just on a lot of voice work, you know. And I think in Supergirl he plays like the live action version of John Jones's brother. You know, I forget the name. I'm gonna look it up. Sorry. Paul Elding as Gus Burns, Reflex. An early episode of Super who can vomit hot lava. He was in Fist. I think that was with the. Sorry, that was with Sylvester Stallone. First one was Madhouse, American Zombie, live action Hunter, Star Trek Next Generation. He was in the episode of that. Elizabeth Ronnish as Ambassador Hendrik, a foreign committed to the support and legalization of superheroes. She was in movies like The Meadow, Dark Eyes. I'm just Red Riding Hood, Joy. Yeah, John Ratzenberger is the Underminer, a more like supervillain who seeks to bring war and destruction to the world. John Ratzenberger, he's done many voice works for Pixar. I think he was in the TV show Cheers, a movie called What If with Kevin Sorbo. Yeah, and I think he was also had a small part in The Empire Strikes Back and in Superman 2 and Superman the movie and Superman 2 as well. And she's having so yeah for Pixar he voiced Ham in the Toy Story films, all four of them. A Bug's Life he voiced PT, Monsters Inc. Yeti I think he voiced the was the Abominable Snowman. He voiced the fish school in Finding Nemo. The Incredibles, the Underminer, the first Incredibles, and he was responsible for the Underminer in this movie. And Ratatouille does the voice work for that. Wally, he voiced the guy named John. Up, the construction foreman. Tom, Cars 2, Cars 1 and 2, and some of the Toy Story short animated films. Finding Dory. Oh, Toy Story 4 was 2019. Okay, yeah, he voiced Ham once again. And Coco, and Cars 3. Yeah, and Inside Out 1 and 2. Barry Bostic as the mayor of the New World, the mayor. Jennifer Mama, Fantastic Planet, 101 Dalmatians 2, Patch's London Adventure. He voices Thunderbolt. Spy Hard, Weekend at Bernie's 2, which I heard was not a good sequel. Scorpion King 4, Granddaddy Daycare, Jeremy Irons as Detective number 1, Adam Rice as Detective number 2, Adam Gase as Chad Bentley, Usher as the limo driver who was a big fan of Frozone. And like I said, it's written and directed by Brad Bird, who, like I said, directed The Iron Giant. The first Incredible was Ratatouille. Yeah, in this movie. Produced produced by John Walker and Nicholas John Walker, who he did produce the first Incredibles short films like Mr. Incredible and Pals, Ratatouille, Wally, uh, not just Incredible 2, but Finding Dory. I'm sorry, Brave, The Good Dinosaur, which are Pixar movies, and Finding Dory and Cars 3 and Coco, and Incredibles 2. I don't think he's produced a movie since. But Nicholas Paris Brindle, sorry, has worked on associate producer on Monsters University and Toy Story 3. Cinematography by Maya Upston's camera. Eric Schmidt lighting, edited by Stephen Schaefer. Uh, Elemental, yeah, let's see. First Incredibles, additional voices, Jack Attack, Cores, Wally, Cores 2, The Good Dinosaur, Incredibles 2, and Elemental. Music by Michael Gennaro. Yeah, but he's done music for the films like The First Incredibles, for Sky High, The Muppets Wizard of Oz, The Family Stone, Mission Impossible 3, Ratatouille, Speed Racer, not the cartoon, the movie from 2008, which I don't remember too much about, to be honest. Star Trek 2009, the reboot. Up, Land of the Lost, Cars 2, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Tomorrowland, which I think was also written by Brad Bird, Star Trek Beyond, Inside Out, Zootopia, Doctor Strange, Rogue One, Star Wars Story, Spider-Man Homecoming, Incredibles 2, and Spider-Man Far From Home, The Batman. Oh yeah, he did score for The Batman. Love his theme with that, you know. Thor: Love and Thunder, yeah. Yeah, and an upcoming movie called Ray Gun, which I've never heard of, but I think it's new. Don't know when it's coming out. But anyway, production companies Pixar Animation Studios. It's stupid. I wanted Disney Studios for special. I hope I'm talking all right, guys. I'm not trying to talk like I'm drunk. But it was released June 15, 2018. It's 118 minutes long of a running time. Uh, see, it's about 2 hours and 6 minutes long. Yeah, I know it's a little weird. Didn't really need to be 2 hours though. The budget was $200 million. Box office made $1.243 billion worldwide, so it was a hit. Well, since Incredibles Bird, you know, postponed development, so we'll see what it work. At least he took his time with it, and it was worth the wait. The film received positive reviews from critics, though, with praise for its animation, humor, voice acting, action sequences, writing, and musical score. And gross, making it the fourth highest grossing film of 2018. Probably up there with Avengers Infinity War, which came out the year also. Along with being third film to cross billion after Finding Dory and Toy Story 3. Brad Bird announced that the film's production schedule resulted in many plot lines and ideas he had for the film being cut from the final version. Bird's last film for a full-year production. Bird, so I think he's planning on doing a movie. Turtles 3 was officially announced by Doctor. Now it's 2024. Bird returned to develop. But I'd rather them take their time with it. It'll definitely be worth waiting. As long as it's a good sequel, like it was good, like this movie, I don't mind them taking their time. I know the sequel came 15 years later, but hey, it worked. But like I said, the film is not perfect. All right. But for the story, like I said, they're gonna for Incredibles 2. If you've never seen this movie, I already did one little spoiler for you. Sorry, but if you've never seen Incredibles 2, do not watch this review or the first movie. Well, if you've seen the first movie, don't watch that revision review or the original review you did because there's spoilers in those reviews too. And for Incredibles 2 in this review, there will be spoilers. So if you've never seen Incredibles 2, please turn the video off right now. I don't want to spoil it for you. But the film takes place. Well, the story of Incredibles 2 is that telecommunications guru Winston Diver enlists Elastigirl because the Incredibles they fight the Underminer in the beginning. I'll get into all that later, but he enlists Elastigirl here, to fight crime and make the public fall in love with the superheroes once again. That leaves Mr. Incredible, Bob, this time, is one of the greatest challenges ever. Staying home and taking care of the three children, that is, Violet, Dash, and baby Jack, who has, we know had powers in the first movie, but of course, you already know from the trailers that Bob finds out about Jack's powers, and he has to help him control those powers and teach him to do control. Oh, as you see, I'm wearing my Pixar shirt here. Probably can't see, but there's Mr. Incredible. What's her name? Elastigirl. Sorry. And Dash. Yeah, I'm not trying to do some Dash for you, but no, okay. Sorry. I'm not showing you my belly. No, this ain't that kind of video. Yeah. If you want that, go to the Chip and Dale channel. Yeah. Or if you want to watch that, just watch Patrick Swayze and Chris Farley doing an SNL sketch if you want to see man dance. Okay. Anyway, as Violent Dash Jack offers a new set of headaches. A cybercriminal named Screenslaver, who you can see on top of here. By the way, if you know anybody who has seizures or something like that, or have a family member that has seizures, or a friend do not let them watch this movie because this film does have flashing lights, and I think they warn you when this movie came out. The theater also warns you about that. So I'm just warning you if you've never seen this movie, you know somebody who has seizures, they can't handle like flashing lights in their face. This movie has quite a bit of that. So yeah, because Screensaver, and Screensaver is a villain that launches his plan. He hypnotizes the world computer screens, and Elastigirl must find him and stop him. But along the way, she finds that there's more to the story, and that she has to have her family, including Frozone and the rest of the Incredibles, along with some new superhero characters, they must fight this new villain, and they have to save the world and save the day and prove that superheroes are right for the world once again, and you know, bring superheroes back. So that's the plot for you. And like I said, there will be spoilers in this review. So again, if you've never seen Incredibles 2, please don't watch this review. Yeah, yeah. So again, if you've never seen Incredibles 2, please turn this video off right now. And I'll put it in the description box below too, like I always do. So even before you watch the video, just pause me. Even before you start the video, you're welcome to read the description box below and say, "Well, I've never seen this movie before. Oh, there's spoilers in it, you know, so don't watch." But if you want to watch, your choice. But there are spoilers in this review. So anyway, Incredibles 2. So the film opens up where the first film took off, but you have this kid Tony Reicher who is her crush, and the Incredibles are, of course, they're fighting the Underminer. With Tony, Riley gets mad because the family had to figure a way to go stop his Underminer's machine, and they tell him Violet to watch. She's like, "I got a babysit. I don't want to be a superhero." She takes her mask off, throws it off, turns around, and Tony sees her, turns around, freaked out, and he's like, "But I like this girl, and I'm nice, and she's nice and everything." But he puts this thought in his head that makes him forget her identity. But as they fight the Underminer, Mr. Incredible, let's go, they have to get into his machine. He gets the machine. He's like, "Underminer, Mr. Incredible, I'm gonna stop you." He sucks him in the vacuum. But Incredible was able to, him and Mr. Incredible have fisticuffs. They fight a bit. Frozen was able to help out too because he makes his way to City Hall with his ground billion in the bank. He is able to get away, but the Incredibles do stop his machine from hitting City Bank. Frozen slips away. Yeah, because he froze it, but Frozen takes off right away. As the families inside the hole, they work together to stop it using their powers. Some people, like an old lady, almost gets hurt, but Dash, runs and saves her. Or and these ladies almost get these walls crushed into her. You know, this rubble, but Violet's able to use a force shield to protect them. They save the day. Frozen runs. He's like Frozen. This Slimmer talks to him. He's like, "But I know my employee who can help you out." And Frozen goes with him. He freezes his arms at first because he wasn't this doesn't want this guy to get his attention or do something. But then the family gets arrested. They're all putting their hands up. Police are like, the detective's like, "You shouldn't have done that. By doing nothing. So we're not supposed to do anything." Exactly. You ruined everything. And say, "Well, Rick, you're not doing much." Well, you should have not done it. That they went too deep this time because they are out in public doing super stuff like they're not supposed to. Because if you remember in the first Incredibles, if you've seen it, well, of course you've watched the movie, you've seen the movie, you know that in the first Incredibles, about 15 years ago, the superheroes were banned. There was all politics involved and stuff. Signed statement that the supers have to quit their jobs and they can't be superheroes anymore. They have to live normal day-to-day lives. Yeah. And for coming out, they get arrested. But he goes takes them to the motel. He's like, "I do what I can for you guys." They said, "Believe it, we help out." And the truth's like this. But Helen, doesn't want the kids to. Well, before I get to that, they do thank Rick for helping them, and they have to stay in this hotel for a week, and you know they're eating dinner, and he's like, "Well, it's Helen wants the kids to understand that it's the law. It can't be superheroes anymore." But Bob wants them to explore their powers, that they're special, and that they should be helping people. And he's like, "Well, breaking laws not the right thing, but helping out." And they have this disagreement. They're about to get into this argument. I do like the mode, when they're about to eat quesadillas and Dash, "Did you wash your hands?" And he's like, "With soap?" Runs back. "Wipe your hands off." He's like, and she gives him broccoli to eat. Bob also tells him about, the Tony Roger knowing about Violet's seeing the mask off, and that's when he took care of that. And Helen and Bob are trying to figure out what to do. And since they can't be superheroes anymore, like, honey, it's against the law. We can't do that no more. You know, we don't want to end up going to jail for breaking the law because that's what can happen. Even though Bob thinks they're doing the right thing and being superheroes and they save people despite the damages. And the kids use first they want to fight crimes. The filing on the island was different, and that superheroes are illegal now because they had to save their dad. And that was a whole different story. And even though it says, they did have fun fighting crime as a family, but they can't do it because it's against the law now. As they're talking, they're talking at the pool, or whatever, just talking about what they're gonna do. And with 2 weeks, he's got to get a job, and Helen suggests he does it, but then someone shows up to them, and that is, of course, Frozone, Lucius, 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 they're being contracted by Winston's David of Tepcon. They arrive to meet him, and they're worried about Winston. He's like, and his sister Elvin, Elvin, not Elephant, Evelyn. And Winston's like, and he sings her song, like, I love you guys. I'm excited to meet you. Sings the Elastigirl song and sings Mr. Incredible. Frozen, they sing. He's like, hey, please wear your costumes. And, they wear their, well, not this costume, but they wear their original costumes. He proposed a plan to help give back the superheroes public support by setting up missions and stunts to better their reputation. He tells them the history about his father, who loved superheroes like them back in the day, back those 15 years ago. And he even had like red phones, like if you want to call Batman. But for like Gazer Beam, who I think Gazer Beam went on, that character I believe went on the Syndrome's island and was killed by the robot. But anyway, his father apparently got older, and this is the time where superheroes got, by the government, but told to stop by the law enforcing it. These thieves broke in with guns to rob them, and he was trying to call the superheroes, but he couldn't. His mom suggested that they should go inside a vault, but he's like, no, call the supers. But that doesn't work, and his father and mother get shot and killed, and he thinks that's the right thing. Winston believes that it's the right thing to do for these superheroes, that they are helping people, and that politics just worry about money and stuff, but it's the right thing because they're helping out and they're helping people, and we need superheroes. He just has to have them want to go on a mission, talk to them about it. Well, what you did today was incredible. Excuse me, pun. And tells them that Elastigirl can go on this mission. He's like, well, our ratings say that Elastigirl was better or whatever. And Mr. Incredible was like, what, really? Not me? And of course, they do wear masks, by the way. Because she's the least assured of the three bullets. And at first, though, Helen's like, no, Elastigirl's like, no, I can't do it. I got kids. I'm just too busy. And she's like, it's against the law. So they're basically paying you to break the law. And we need the money for our family. Yeah. And she makes up her mind about it. And she gives Winston a call and tells her to do it. Winston sets them up in this nice house. I don't know if there's a picture of the nice house, but they get to live like this nice big fancy house. So he can find work himself. Bob has to stay with the kids. He's like, that'll be no big deal. Yeah, and I do like the first when they get in this new house. He says like a billionaire has owned it, but he owns these other houses, but he lets it for as long as they need, lets them live there for as long as they need to. And but the good thing about it is that they can stay in this house for as long as they want to, and I can barely. But anyway, I like it when one of the houses has these remote controls. Like it's got like under the ground, it's got water and stuff. He starts, Dad starts running and pushing these buttons, which is underneath like the living room floor, and it's water. And he's like, and he's messing with it, and the couches start getting underwater. Like they're like dash dash. And Elastigirl, she gets a new suit. She's like, "Oh, this new suit's not me. I don't have a picture of the new suit, but it is a cool new suit." And he starts singing, the last girl song's like, "Don't do that, I'm gonna go away now." And she gets a new bike. She flies up to New Orprum. Yeah, and at first, there's nothing for her to do. She gets to ride this bike. People are like, "Oh, it's Elastigirl, Elastigirl." She like waves at them. And this bike, by the way, is really cool when she drives this bike. And at first, a few times she has no, I can't even barely speak. She has no crime to fight. It's like you just sticking around and doing something is helpful. But until she gets a rail about a train that's crashing through goes backwards, she has to chase it. She part of the bike, she's just riding the bike around buildings and stuff, and it helps her. The bike can like separate, which helps her stretching abilities as well. She's able to get on there, but she has to use her arm. Like she did in the first movie, she has to stretch her arms out to get on there. She does, but she starts up like with a parachute with her body, and it works. She's trying to get the driver's attention, but he's like looking at the screen. Well, he's hypnotized. She discovers that it was under the guy named Screenslayer. Sorry, Screenslaver, who says on a note after she quick as the driver, slaps him and said, a little bit. He's like, "You better have a good explanation." She's like, What was I doing? What?" And he doesn't even know what was going on. And it says on the board, she sees that there's this note on his computer saying, "Welcome back, Super Elastigirl." Elastigirl. He hypnotizes people through a monitor. Um, but then you have Bob dealing with the kids, and it's very stressful for him, of course, because he's got to take care of Jack Jack. They're trying to talk about what's Mom's new job, what's her new job, what she's doing, and it's like, "Oh, the bus is here. You better get to school." And with that, Baby cries a lot, so he's got to very much watch Jack Jack a lot, and also he's got to deal with Violet. Violet is named Red. Violet, who's trying to go on a date. She's upset. She's like, "Honey, you don't want to talk about it." She runs away, crying, and Helen does call him. She says, "I stopped the train. I stopped the train." He's stuck on my siding. And he's like, "Yeah, everything's great here, honey." Yeah, he doesn't want to worry her. He wants, yes, for especially him, he wants to be superhero again, but he doesn't want to worry Helen because if Helen worries, she'll come right back home and doesn't tell her anything. Helen, I mean, well, not Helen, but Bob is also trying to help math homework, which I suck at math, but Bob is good at punching things, but he's not very good at math. But he does learn it though. He, gets to the right. He's like, math is the same. We do it this way. Math's just math, but he eventually is able to figure out, gets Dash up early, and helps him out with his homework, and it works. Violet though gets mad at him because he says he mentions the word. Well, Rick, did that to somebody. Was like because of you. You told him that, and so she's mad at them. He's like, "I don't want to be superhero again." She tries to bury her suit. She throws like, "Oh." And it's scary when she gets when Violet gets mad. You just that look, you know. And Bob tries to resettle the matter by taking them to dinner, and she pulls that water out of her nose. He's like, tries to talk to Tony. He's like, doesn't remember me. Doesn't remember me. But then back to Helen. For her actions, she gets an interview, and during the interview, the villain again exposes his plans to kill the ambassador. She meets the ambassador, who's happy to meet her, wants them to come back, wants to make superheroes legal again. But during the interview, the guy gets hypnotized, like, "Hey, Lester, nice to meet you again," and he's just hypnotized. Lester goes over trapping down, like, "Everybody, don't look at the screen, don't look at the screen." She's closed her eyes, just not to look at the screen. If you look at the screen, they'll hypnotize you. She tries to find him, but with no luck, trying to track the villain down. And doing that, though, he's about to kill the ambassador. Lester gets on her bike real quick. Well, no, the bike was destroyed during the train, but anyway, she's able to use her abilities, stretch abilities, to get to the plane. And we're saying, "Don't look at the screen." And she jumps on her, everybody jumps off, and she saves the senator. Senator's like, "Oh, I was ambassador," but she saves the ambassador, saves the day. Yeah, but then her actions have caused, remember, Super stepping out into the public. That is like Void, who can create portals with her hand. She's like, "Let's go. It's nice to meet you. So nice to meet you." She's nervous, and Hellette, Drexy, Reflex, Screech, Crusher, and Brick. She managed to figure out the. And she asked Callum at the party, talking about what they're going to do. He's like, can you. She's like, I got an idea to catch Screen Slayer next time we catch him. But he got away twice, and I got to get on my ear to find this guy. And he does worry Helen, worries less for that she needs to catch the villain. They're going to be super easily, they have to be able to catch the villains. And so she wants to pinpoint his signal. She does the interview again, but she's like outside on the tower, hearing it, and eventually Screen Slayer just come back to talk to her. And she's able to have like this signal, this like walkie talkie. Well, that's the signal. She's able to track his location down. And like I said, the whole thing with if anybody who has seizures, don't watch the movie, especially in this scene. She, arrives at this place like a small apartment, and Screen Slayer was like, find anything? And sneaks up on her and turns his lights on. Those flickering lights, and they're fighting. She's a fist fight him, but she can't. She has to kind of do it with her eyes closed because if she looks, he'll control her mind. So she fights him off, and she managed to capture him though. And the suspect isn't like, well, I'm not Screen Slayer. He's like, yes, you are. And she's in jail. Like, well, she calls her husband, calls Bob that she caught the villain. Bob gets frustrated as well. He's very tired. He gets not being able to get any sleep. Tries to sleep because he's he's Jack twice. First time, reads a book to him, puts him in bed. Tries to do it again. He's reading, falls asleep, and Jack's, I wake up. And then Jack, he just put a table on top of the crib, but Jack gets out again. And he's like, and that's the scene where you get remember there's a raccoon in the movie? Jack's watching TV, seeing these robbers, sees the raccoon, and the raccoon stares at him. He's looking at the raccoon, and he's thinking the raccoon's like the robbers. And Jack, and the raccoon's, he gives abilities to fight this raccoon. They wrestle. He turns on fire. The raccoon gets trapped in the chair. The raccoon's like, oh. Him and the raccoon fight more. That's hilarious in the movie. Yeah, this was like the most funny scene. I remember being at theater watching this movie, the whole audience enjoying that. It's funny. Bob wakes up. Was like, "You have powers, Jack. This is amazing." And then he says, "Watch your first laser." Yeah. Bob can't figure out how they work. You know, he has to find out where he goes because Jack will teleport sometimes. And he's like, "For a cookie, num num cookie." And if they don't give him the cookie, he'll turn to the red devil, to the devilish monster, to his monster form. He has to go to Edna Moan. We see Edna once again. He's like, Robert, I don't watch babies for free. He's like, baby, you going to leave him here? And, and she does, and yeah, and then watches the baby. But meanwhile, though, the victory part is held to celebrate Alaska's victory for Screenslayer and Global's legalization of superheroes with Winston and Nelson televised signing on super by ambassadors of the United Nations to be held at the Everest ship, you know, so they can legalize superheroes again. But Elastigirl, is excited for it. Boy comes to her, is like, so if you manage being a parent and being a normal life and doing that, she's like, yeah, And then she sees like something on the screen, something that is very suspicious to her. She's like, excuse me, boy, I'm sorry, I have to go do something. As she ends up in Eleven's control room as she noticed something strange on one of the monitors. It was connected to her suit cam as Eleven, I can't say this darn woman's name right, but our God. Evelyn, 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 it was in her suit cam. And, Helen and Evelyn, they become like good friends. Talk about that women can fight better, women can do this. And they even, she helps track him down, track the screenslayer down. But as Lazlo goes deeper into it, where she can find out more, yeah, Evelyn, you know, plays along, but then Evelyn flips these hover goggles on her, and apparently she is the one that is the screenslayer and controlling everything, where she can learn anyone, render her unconscious and under her mind control. But back at home, Bob, he goes to Edna, he tells him about his powers and that her and Jack Jack, he gives even Jack Jack a suit to help control his abilities. And, he's like, me and Jack Jack, we get along, they get along. Jack Jack's able to, you know, for her sign in to her computer, whatever, takes him into the room, and you see him, using his powers. They take him as like, this one watched me by Jack Jack. The family tested they test the device. He's like, they be like, shoot, you blaze, shoot, shoot, and they're able to control it more. But before that, though, Elastigirl wakes up, being trapped to a chair, which the freezer's on. That if she can't, he's like, Elvin says, you better not do that. He's like, Helen, you the whole time, why? And she realizes that she's Screenslayer, that she just chose this guy. He's like, you put an innocent man in jail. She had hated superheroes. She hates superheroes. So this is our revenge for her due to her father's death. Because he's like, my father and mother, they could have gone to the vote, but my dad didn't listen and they got shot. All because superheroes weren't there. So you say she has a real grudge against superheroes. Unlike her brother, who's all excited to want them to help out. She wants to be rid of the superheroes. She also plans to use supers to cause mayhem in a way by using the hypnotic goggles to control them. She permanently outlaw them while harming thousands of innocent lives. Then led to hypnotize Elastigirl to the conference room as bait to lure Mr. Incredible to his doom. Evelyn then, as they're testing Jet powers, it's cool that Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl they have their phones, their red phones. But Mr. answers like, there's something wrong with Elastigirl. She's been captured. Something's wrong. And Bob comes up in his, of course, dressed as Mr. Incredible suit. Elastigirl attacks him for distract, he's like, Helen, she distracts him with a kiss and puts the goggles on him. Then he asks Lucius to come out and help. But Evelyn sent the, yeah, Evelyn sent the children, sends her mind control superheroes, which are the Void and all the other superheroes, to go tell the kids, you're coming with us, we need you to come with us. Like, no. And Frozen's like, they come with me, and they walk in. Frozen realizes what they're doing, that they're under Evelyn's control, Evelyn's control. And Frozen like freezes at them, but they get out, of course. They fight, and Dash is able to use super speed. Violet uses her, from one of the guys that can, it's like made of electricity. His powers are sort of shock them, and so they have a brief fight with them. Um, oh, I forgot to mention, Mr. Incredible wants to steal his car. Like, they don't sell my car. He pushes the button, doesn't work. He's like, forget it. But then later, that device, remote control, he uses Dash uses it to get it back, which works. And then we get out there, but Frozen, they put the goggles on him. He's like, oh, and the kids run out there, like, Incredicore, drive or whatever. Violet Dash and Jack they use the voice remote control, proceed to go after, or just after Agnes' house. But they go back to guard the ship. The children, minutes to arriving into the ship, well, at first, Violet Dash said, "What we're gonna do?" And like, "We're gonna, baby, we can't. We gotta save our parents." They got our parents and they little dad there, and then they put their mask on and say, "It's time for us to be heroes." And they take off with the Incredible Hulk. They see the ship and they say, and it's like, "Incredible car, can you swim?" And the Incredible, which is cool about Mr. Incredible's car, it can actually turn into a boat as well. And it does. They ever get on the ship. Violet then tells Dash to watch Jack as she's gonna go try to save them, save her parents. You know, she's turning invisible. Uh, she accidentally, trying to sneak around. Because again, one of her powers is turning invisible, of course. She knocks over a plant, but eventually Void, who was under mind control again, the other heroes are under mind control as well. Just like Mr. Incredible, Elastigirl, Frozone. Void finds her and her and Void fight. And she puts a pretty good fight by, using her, you know, to kind of toss her around a bit with the force shield. They fight a bit. Yeah, and Dash, Jack gets away eventually and ends up in an elevator. This device is trapped where he's teleported to, and he's crying. He's like, and some guy sees the baby, like, sees Jack's like, "Oh, little baby, you okay?" And then Jack, you know, comes the monster form, and the guy's like, "Oh." That was hilarious. Yeah, and one of the guys that is like an eagle or has powers like a bird tries to chase them down. Jack becomes like a real big giant. They try to give him a cookie, but he runs away. Eventually, they're able to hide like in an event, but Crusher and Void and them they hear them and tries to crush them. Everyone's plan goes into full force though. When Winston sees that, they goes up. Was this new mask for them or something? Yeah, but don't worry, they're gonna arrive. So the mind controlled Helen and Bobbin retrieve a manifest on air to paint themselves and super them as a public threat. Well, before they get free from that control, she has them in front of the entire world that's watching deciding this. They as screenslave she takes control, and Helen tells saying we're gonna take control of you. We're gonna come after you. We're gonna do all this bad stuff. You know, yeah. But as they attack the crew, eventually their kids come and probably use the shield. Eventually, Jack is able to walk. Like, "What, a baby?" And Jack uses power to fly up to her, and Greta takes the goggles off, and Helen has to fight Frozen and Incredible, and they eventually able to take the mask off, and the mask off of the other heroes as well. Um, Winston doesn't score punch. She's like, "Come on, Winston!" She tries to take off. He's like, "You're insane! You can't. I can't believe you've done this." And he goes to free the other people from her mind control by breaking the screen. Gets these people to safety by destroying the screen, projecting hypnotic images. They're gonna crash the ship in the newborn. All the super get control, and they say, okay, well, Helen's like, Leslie was like, boy, I'm gonna need you to help me, and she wants to go up to the plane to catch her, while the family is gonna try to, while Mr. Credible, Violent Dash, and Rosalind, they're gonna try to turn the ship away to crash from the city. Uh, by using Voice able to use her portal abilities. Yeah. Lester gets on there. At first, Lester starts panning out, starts rolling and talking funny because from the air, her air was running out, the air's running out of her body. But eventually, she's able to like hit her or something to kick her out of the kick her out of the plane. But the Incredibles are able to end up stopping by using their abilities. You know, Mr. Incredible has to go like underwater using an anchor to turn the ship. Frozen has to use his powers as well. Yeah. And they stop the ship. Elephant gets a Elephant gets arrested. Elephant, not Elephant, Evelyn. Sorry, Evelyn is arrested for her crimes. He does appreciate her for saving her. Because I can't believe you did that. And they was like, of course I'm still gonna save you. I'm still a superhero. You know, and Winston apologizes for Elephant. Elephant's actions, and superheroes were getting full legal status because they're able to sign the paper in court. And then after that affair, Tony agrees to go on a date with Bella to a movie. The Paris and Jack. However, at the theater, they witness a car of bank robbers armed with machine guns. And of course, she pushes them out and says, I was like, go ahead, buy some food, buy some popcorn, be right back soon. And they put their mask on. And they have their own Incredibles car, which is real cool. And they put their mask off and they don their masks and suits and pursue the criminals in their new crime fighting car. And they take off and go save the day. And then that's the end. So, so that's Incredibles 2. Let me see if I can read some quotes. Done properly, parenting is a heroic act. Done properly. That's the way you're supposed to do it, Dad. They want to do it like this. I don't know what they wait. Why would you change math? Math is math. Math is math. I think it's okay, Dad. Screensaver interrupts this program for an important announcement. Don't bother watching the rest of Last Road. Doesn't save the day, as she only postpones her defeat. And while she postpones her defeat, you eat chips and watch her confront problems with that you were too lazy to deal with. Superheroes are part of your brainless desire to replace true experience with simulation. You don't talk, you watch talk shows. You don't play games, you watch game shows. Shallow relationships. Risk, meaningless experience must be packaged and delivered to you watch at a distance so that you remain ever sheltered, ever passive. Go ahead, send your supers to stop me. Grab your snacks, watch your screen and see what happens. You're in total control. I am. Suit up and might get weird. I'll be there ASAP. Where are you going ASAP? You better be back ASAP. I missed Jack Jack's cross power. First power? I actually missed the first 17 and then Jack Jack can also multiply himself into babies. Hey, you do this. Can you undo it? You want me? I don't crush. What? No one's ever asked for that. No, Crush is silly. Why doesn't he crush? You know it's crazy, right? To help my family. I gotta leave it to fix the law. I gotta break it. You gotta do it. Our kids can say have that choice. Superheroes are illegal. We want to fight bad guys, Jack. Jack. Want to be bad guy. Divide who I am. We're not saying you have what? Someone TV on set. Num num cookie. Because I'm formulating, okay? I'm information processing. I'm doing the math. I'm fixing the boyfriend. I keep the baby up from turning into a flaming monster. How do I do it? By rolling with the punches. Baby, I eat thunder and crap lightning, okay? Because I'm Mr. Incredible, not Mr. So-So, Mr. Miracle, Mr. Incredible. We should call Lucius. Now I can handle. There's no way I'm gonna. And then JJ goes, oh, you know, JJ goes flying through the walls, goes to the pool in the backyard, and Bob runs after him, catches him in the pool. He's like, and Bob's like, I'm calling Lucius. Lucius. He's a child. One time he remembers we had parents and superheroes, so like a child wants to place to do. Mommy and daddy went away because superheroes went away. Our sweet parents were fools to put them in lives anywhere. Superheroes keep us weak. If you want to get out of the hole, first you gotta put down on the shovel. What did I put? Who did put you in jail? Peace delivery guy. Seemed right. Billy gave you a pretty good fight. She said I gave you a pretty good fight though, through him. But he doesn't bother you that as man is in jail. He was sorely and the pizza was cold. He's bright and I'm simulating deserve each other. Of course you leave the baby behind. I'm sure filling in for Evelyn is challenging, and you are very tired when she notices her powers. Tired. And the other children need you and miss you, and you must go to them. Go, go, go. Auntie Edna will take care of everything. So drive safely. Goodbye. I enjoy your visits. I enjoy your visits. I can't do the voice right. Brad Bird does it perfectly. But anyway, I think I'm done here. Yeah. But it has a lot of good dialogue in it, too. Let me give my final opinion on The Incredibles 2. My final opinion on the sequel, what I think of it. Final thoughts. I love Incredibles 2. This was worth 15 years or 14 years worth of wait, whatever, but it was worth the wait. And what? The sequel was what, 2018, 19? I think it's going to be nearly like 8 years old this year. I would think so. 8, yeah. I don't think it'll turn 10 till like 2028, so it should be 8. 8 years old this June. I think the movie will turn 8. So about 7 years, yeah. And I don't mind waiting another 10, 11 something years. Now, I mean, tell me about it. If they come up with a sequel for 2028, 2029, I can wait. I do think they're, developing Incredibles 3. And yeah, I thought the film was good. I really enjoyed this. Um, yeah. Yeah, I can see why critics love this. The animation is good, though. I do agree the CGI animation, Pixar always does good in their animated films. Their animation is always good. They've been doing this since the first Toy Story in 1995. So the CGI animation is good. The story's really good. I like seeing how they're trying to bring supers back. I like seeing Elastigirl in action. We had Mr. Incredible trying to go. He was in one of the action in the first movie, and I like seeing Elastigirl in action. Her riding that cool bike, or going up against Screenslayer and doing her own investigating, going up against her own villain, just like Bob did with the Syndrome. You know, yeah. Well, no, the family did have to go live in a hotel for a bit, because the house got blown up due to Syndrome trying to kidnap Jack Jack. You know. But I discovered that he has powers. We see more of his powers developed here, and that was cool. And Jack Jack's a very cute baby, but don't make him angry because he can turn into a little monster and attack you. But the voice cast is really good. The story was really good. I like that we see new supers, and that they're more in action in this movie. I like the whole plot that is mind device, mind control. I mean, the first movie, yeah, Syndrome had technology like a giant robot to try to become a hero, but Eleven is a villain who is trying to get rid of superheroes. You know, and she has a grudge against them. And again, it's just as good as villain as Syndrome in my opinion. Well, I say Syndrome is better. I think I got a picture of Syndrome here on my shirt. I see one on my shirt. Just looking. No, I do not. But Syndrome is a good villain. Always one of my favorites. Yeah, and Helven as Screenslayer, the Rose Screenslayer, she was a good villain, and I liked how she set it up. And the Screenslayer himself is a cool looking character. But again, if you have people who have with autism or if you have seizures, something like that, or anybody know who anybody does, don't let them watch this movie because there's a lot of flashing lights. So, but the humor does work. I agree. The action sequences, the action is good. The musical score is really good. Dun, 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 Michael Giacchino's score was good. Brad Bird did a good job directing and writing this movie. You can tell that he's dedicated. That he loved making the first movie. He was very dedicated. And he was very dedicated to making the sequel. And he gave us a good sequel. It has a good story. I like seeing Bob dealing with the kids. That was interesting. He's learning how to deal with parenthood and how struggling that can be, especially having 3 kids, you know, and a little baby with power. So that's probably not struggling with him. But it is a very good sequel. It's one of the best sequels out there, I would say, in my opinion. Is it as better? I think the first one's still better. I do think it's as good as the first one, but I would say the first one's better. I do think the writing by Bradbury and direction is good. Cinematography is nice. I love the cinematography for the movie. It is beautiful animation. It was good to look at in theaters. And the action scenes were well done. The CGI animation, the animation is real good. A lot of the humor works too. It can be funny at times, and yeah. And the plot and the story is very interesting of how it folds out, how it plays out. Yeah. The film is 2 hours 6 minutes long. I do think you could have chopped some stuff down, like Maybe that you didn't need to make it over 2 hours and 6 minutes long. I like the beginning with Tony Reidinger getting his brain zapped. I'm like, and then the whole thing about like you didn't need that with Tony. I'd rather just see the Incredibles in action as soon as they put their suits on. So the yeah, well, before I get to that, so the editing is good, the music score is good, and the running time it's 118 minutes long. I do think they could have maybe chopped a little bit of it, but still, despite the running time, it does have a very interesting story, and the humor works, especially when Jack is fighting the raccoon. That was funny. A lot of funny dialogue in here. It's a very entertaining sequel. The humor very much works. Yeah, it's a good superhero movie, definitely. And yeah, it definitely deserved to make $1 billion at the box office. It was worth the wait. Yeah, I agree with you with U.S. Weekly. It was worth the wait. Heck yeah, it was. And it's I'm glad they're taking time with the third movie. If they're gonna make a third movie, just I'd rather wait. Be patient. You know, because you can have a great sequel. I'm hoping we get the Batman movie, which I'm hoping Rob Pattinson does come back. Matt Reeves does too. I don't mind being patient. I know that movie's been delayed a couple times, but good. Let him put in a real good story. Just not the runtime. My problems, I would say, one of my problems I have is that Tony Roger in the beginning when he's watching the kids that mind in his mind, I'm like, you didn't need that. I could have done without that. I mean, I get it, Violet's a teenager and got frustrated, throw her mask off, but you didn't need that. I do like when she tries to talk to Tony again. She's like, that was funny. But you didn't need her. You didn't need Tony in the beginning. He's not that big of a major character, so we didn't really need to see his minds after anything. That was kind of useless. That was very useless in my opinion. And some of the superheroes, but my favorite was Void. As for the other ones, they were okay. You know, I get it. They had new characters in, and I didn't mind them. Wasn't too big on the characters. Uh, I do hate that the Incredibles are apart from each other. I do wish to see them more in their suits here, which you didn't get in this sequel very much. It was sad to see the Incredibles apart. But it was nice to see Helen Elastigirl going on a mission and being a badass the way she is. But if you make a third movie, please have the team together. Have it where they're more on screen together and fighting together. That'd be nice too. It was sad to see the Incredibles off screen together for a little bit, for a while there. But despite that, it does have a good story. It makes up for having a good story, an interesting story. Seeing Helen in action, having to investigate, and you know what Evelyn does. You feel why she's angry. She's a good villain and memorable, but I wouldn't say as memorable as Syndrome. But she's a good villain. But despite that, this is a very entertaining sequel. Uh, yeah, if you talk about more superhero movies, if you want to see one of a good superhero sequel, then definitely watch this. But as superhero sequels goes, this is definitely one of the best up there, in my opinion. Yeah, I love the Incredibles 2. Despite that, at the beginning, I don't think you needed Tony Roger. You could have cut that out. Oh, and the kid who voices Dash, Huckleberry, whatever his name was, he was alright. I like the original. So I get it. They had changed it because Spencer Fox grew up, got to be my age 25, so you can't have a 25-year-old, I guess, voicing a 10-year-old because who sound like a deep voice, and that'd be a little strange. So they had to have another kid do it, which is fine. I'm not complaining too badly. But at least you have Zara Barrow, Samuel Jackson, and uh, Holly Hunter, and Craig T. Nelson coming back as Violet, Frozen, Frozone, Elastigirl, and Mr. Incredible. At least you have them coming back, and the animation is good. Trust me, this sequel is worth the wait. If you love the first movie, you'll love this one. I do think they could have maybe trimmed it down a bit in parts. Like maybe did we need all these superhero characters? No, not really. I don't think they were needed. I did like the Void character, but I think I could have done without them. But again, I guess I had put them there because to have the mind control stuff going on, which was interesting. That makes up for it. And they were good characters too, especially Void. I like the Void character. And the voice acting by everyone here was good. The animation was good. The story was good. The action scenes are good, are well shot. Yeah, the editing and the music score was good as well. You know the Incredibles theme, and you just know it when you hear it in here. And that's my review of Incredibles 2. So my rating for Incredibles 2, it's just called Incredibles 2 by the way. I don't know why they came up with The Incredibles 2, but yeah, it's Incredibles 2. That's when it came out. That's the title of the movie. So anyway, my rating for Incredibles 2 is, I'm going to give this film a thumbs up. And my rating for this film is 4 to 5 stars. It's a solid sequel. It's a very entertaining sequel. And it's just as good as the first one. But I do think the first one's better, in my opinion. Despite that though, this was worth the freaking wait. Trust me, it was. I love Incredibles 2. So 4 to 5 stars. Again, my rating for this film It's 4 to 5 stars and thumbs up. So guys, tell me in the comments down below if you've seen Incredibles 2 here. What do you think of it in your opinion? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Tell me in the comments down below. And again, like I said, Deadpool 2, Incredibles 2, the sequel. Another sequel I'm going to review. This is an MCU film. I believe it's the. Shoot. Hold on, hold on. That is once again starring Paul Rudd and Evelyn Lilly and Michael Douglas and Michelle Pfeiffer's in this movie as well. Lawrence Fishburne and directed by once again by Peyton Reed. It is the 20th film in the MCU, and that is of course Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yep, which is another sequel to the 2015 Ant-Man film, the first movie. Yeah, and I did see this film in theaters. Yeah, yep. And this time we get Hope, who becomes Wasp in this sequel, which is awesome. So we get two people that can shoot, plus you get Wasp, and you get more double the action. So Ant-Man and the Wasp. This is next. This is the second Ant-Man movie and the 20th film in the MCU. Yeah. So Ant-Man and the Wasp. This will be next. So stay tuned for that. And again, my rating for Incredibles 2 is 4 to 5 stars and a thumbs up. Tell me guys in the comments down below. What do you think? Do you prefer this over the first movie, or do you prefer the first movie like I do? What are some of your favorite Pixar animated movies? And would you consider this one of your favorite superhero movies ever? Or yeah, do you think there should be Incredibles 3? Do you, if so, do you really want that to happen? Do you look forward to it? And what do you think of the sequel in your opinion? Were you excited by it when it came out? Of course, I'm sure you were. But just let me know. Did you enjoy the movie? Did it let you down? Were your expectations let down? What did you think of it in your opinion? Tell me in the comments down below. And stay tuned for this film came out in July. And I did review The Death of Superman that came after this in 2018. That was July 24th with direct to video, I believe. I reviewed that I'm gonna share that review after. If you want to see my review Death of Superman, just go on my DC reviews, DC Extended Universe reviews or whatever that I put on place. You'll see it there for DC reviews. Same thing, whatever. But anyway, and or my Superman reviews playlist. My thoughts on Death of Superman are already on there. So, but stay tuned for my review of Ant-Man the Wasp, which I can probably review today. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and Mr. Incredible Elastigirl. No, this definitely movie was incredible. So excuse the pun, but it was incredible. So thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, and subscribe. And be good, be well, live long and prosper. And see you later. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.